the Fed is now in this really delicate situation where China cut rates last week. We have an FOMC meeting, the Open Markets Committee that sets rates on Wednesday, I think, of this coming week. What is he supposed to do? Bill Ackman 2 weeks ago was advocating for a 50 basis point raise in this meeting. My only point is the setup is a very complicated one for the Fed coming into this week. And the risk is to a recession, because if we overcorrect,
yes,
and the leading indicators all around the world tell us that their economies are weak, then inflation may have actually been much more transitory than we thought. And right now we have to decide, because if we overcorrect, we're going to plunge the United States economy into a recession.
I'm starting to get pretty worried here that, we had Jeremy Grantham, who's sort of a old school kind of bearish type market commentator. He had this expression that it's more one of these stop clock right twice a day things.
Jeremy Grantham has never found a market he didn't name.
Yeah, exactly. But a stop clock can be right twice a day. And the line he had today is that we're seeing the popping of a super bubble. And we've been talking about
super bubble.
Yeah,
evocative.
Basically, but
that's not true. But I mean, it's good.
Yes, it's evocative.
Well, the sense in which it might be true is that, we've talked about this last few months, is that you had the Fed and the federal government pump a 10 trillion of liquidity into the market over the past 2 years because of COVID. Now they're starting to pull that back. And there was, I think, a general asset inflation across asset classes. Certain types of assets clearly got more inflated than others. We've seen a huge correction in growth stocks. We've seen a huge correction in crypto. Basically anything long dated, as the fear of interest rates increasing has gone up, they've massively corrected. But so the concern is that, with the losses we're seeing, and every day I keep seeing more red, that this could turn into a recession. Popping of bubbles is usually followed by a recession. So I think, the fortunes of the economy could turn really quickly here. And
that is the marginal risk. The marginal risk is actually for a recession. Crypto in the last couple of days has just been shellacked. Growth stocks have been shellacked. Biotech stocks have been just absolutely smoked. Everything is getting crushed.
COVID stocks.
But David is saying something really important. The risk, in my opinion, is not of runaway inflation anymore. And the reason was what happened this weekend was incredibly important. And we have seen this happen just a few years ago. So this weekend, China cut interest rates. Now, as we know, we are dealing in the United States with this issue of whether we should raise rates and by how much, because we're worried about inflation. Well, if you're cutting rates, it's because you're worried about the other problem, which is that the economy is basically turned over and you need to become more accommodating, right? You need to incentivize businesses to spend by lowering.
By turned over, you mean it's slowed down. People are not building, companies not doing a new project. You want to give them an incentive or maybe some catalyst to start some new company or start some new project because all their real estate projects have wound down.
In 2018, here's exactly what happened. The setup was the Fed, everybody was worried about what the Fed was going to do on interest rates. The Fed was looking at China as the canary in the coal mine, the leading indicator of what we should do. And at the end of 2018, Jerome Powell decided to raise rates. And we raised rates. And then enter 2019, the Chinese economy turned over. And we realized that their economy was not nearly as strong as we thought it would be. And so our reaction was disproportionate to what the actual data on the ground said. We entered a recession in 2019. That's when you guys probably saw Trump going crazy, blaming Powell. Most of us ignored it because, we were all dealing with, Trump derangement syndrome. But the underlying thing of what he was saying was, hey, hold on a second. You just caused a recession in America by raising too quickly.
Do you want to know one thing about crypto? I made over 3,000% in profit in a few weeks. Fact is, the traditional financial system, the traditional money system makes you poor, not rich. If you want to earn $500,000, $1 million, you have to wait until you're 50, 60, 70 in the traditional financial system, and you probably will still be broke. And you will be old. This is not a sexy combination, as you can imagine. But the question is, how can you start in crypto and make these profits? Where to invest? Where to start? My name is Gunnar and I'm from Germany, as you can hear, and things are a little bit different in Germany. More about that later on. Fact is, there are lots of different cryptocurrencies. It's a gigantic universe where beginners and professionals get easily lost. But there is light at the end of the tunnel. There are 7 key steps you need to follow to become successful in this market. You have to know them, and if you fail one of them, it's literally impossible to succeed in this market. Just an example, one of the key points is your exchange, and one of the biggest are, for example, Binance and Coinbase. These are trusted and well-established exchanges, but, and this is a big but, you won't find the super profitable coins on those exchanges. The unknown super profitable coins that get gigantic profits are not traded on those kind of exchanges. They are traded on much smaller insider platforms that are barely known. And I can tell you what those super secret exchanges are and why they are so profitable. And another super important thing are the right information sources. The point is, the internet is gigantic. There are hundreds and hundreds of YouTube channels, blogs, pages, and much more. And there are also market makers and influencers. For example, Elon Musk, he is not a crypto guy, but the moment he recommended Dogecoin, it went through the roof, to the moon, so to say. But why did he recommend it? Where did he hear it from? He didn't hear it from newspapers. And believe me, he is listening to someone. But you have to know who, and you have to react before he is reacting. This is really important. And these are only 2 of the 7 steps you have to follow in order to be successful in crypto. And if you want to know all of these steps in much more detail, and if you want to have a comprehensive checklist, here's what you should do. There is a link below this video. Click on this link and you will get the opportunity to subscribe to my channel. Click on the link and you will see a video where I explain the next steps. So see you soon. Click on the link now. I'll see you there.